My top 5 sharpshooting decks. Hey tarot readers, April here on Tarot and Witchery, and I'm loving this hashtag, my top 5 sharpshooters. So today I'm going to tell you my top 5 tarot decks, the ones that are just like easy, quick, down, dirty. Like when I go to them, I get answers. You know how some decks you kind of got to like look at the cards and sort of dig in and kind of find your way to an answer. Well, these decks are not that. These are the ones I use when I need an answer and I don't want to think hard, or I just really need a direct answer. So let's jump into it. Deck number 1, probably no surprise to those of you, especially those who watch my channel where I read tarot, is the Super Lunaris Tarot. I don't remember where I saw this deck, but it is just really lovely. Like the color is really saturated on here, which I just absolutely love. I find that you know, there's modern characters in it. I mean, look at this Fool. Super cool Fool. I really love that. The Emperor, it's very evocative to me. It evokes feeling, which is something that I like. When I dive into a deck, I just want to be, well, especially if I need an answer, I just don't want to dink around. I don't want to dig for it if I'm like, wow, especially if I'm super, like if I'm doing shadow work, I'm going to want to work with something where I'm willing to push my way into the deck. But, you know, if I'm needing it right now, I want something that's straightforward. Look at this. I mean, she just has a way of bringing the feeling out in the card, and that's what I want. I want to get a hit. I want to get an immediate hit on the card when I'm wanting a sharpshooter. You know, I don't want to be messing around with it. I'm trying to find, I love this Ten of Swords. It's just great right there. I love how it's got the water in the background because, you know, it's an emotional moment. This coming to the Ten of Swords place within yourself is highly emotional. So seeing that body of water behind and knowing that there is something more than this right here. There's a horizon ahead and even land. And I think that's important with the Ten of Swords, that we realize this isn't forever. It's a right now. And every 10 leads us to another 1. Look at that Seven of Wands. That's so it. That it's like, bring it. I'm ready. Okay. And I don't have to grab or grasp for anything. Look at this. Like, again, I love this Temperance card here. Very androgynous figure, which is what I want to see in there. Just all of the typical elements that you would find. We've got some alter-abled people in here as well. All of the typical elements that we would find in a Rider-Waite-Smith that, you know, are comfortable. I mean, this is where my groove is at. This is where I've cut my groove. Look at this Four of Swords. I love it. I love the shaft of light coming in. Just that little bit of illumination that happens when we allow ourselves to go into a darker place to rest and relax, so that we can allow the light to come in and really be the focal point. It is the focal point. You know, she's resting and there's this beam of light, and that's what happens at this place. There's when we allow ourselves to relax into just our being, then we can see things more clearly instead of trying to do. So, and it's so great. Turn off your mind. I love this deck. Like I said, I feel really comfortable with it. I read with it a lot. I read with it a lot for clients, and it's so, look at that. Isn't that lovely? It's just a beautiful Page of Cups. I love all the traditional symbolism. She's gorgeous. There's sort of this classical feel, which I love. I'm such a romantic. So the Super Lunaris, if you're interested, there's a link down below in the description box so you can purchase it or check it out further. All of these will be linked. So moving on to number 2. My second sharpshooter is the Druid Craft. And I guess if you know me at all or have watched my channel at all, you'll know that I'm very romantic, and, you know, I love Celtic drawings. This deck is one that I used when I finally took a course and studied, and you can see these are just so dirty and used, and they're loved. I mean, they're just really, really loved. And I feel like I love the style of drawing. I absolutely adore the symbolism. It's so comforting to me. I mean, I love this Judgment card. This to me is just perfect. Like coming out of the tomb, the heralding, you've got all of the symbolism, but again, with that Celtic sort of feel to it. Again, bold colors and, you know, just like I said, just easy to read. Because this is the deck that I super studied when I took a formal course, you know, it's a no-brainer. It's literally a no-brainer for me. It's such an interesting Seven of Cups. I love it how he's sitting and staring into the water and seeing all these cups and just really, you know, staring deeply. It reminds me of Narcissus, you know, just being enamored with your own reflection. And I think the Seven of Cups is like that. You're enamored with some idea outside of yourself, and it's just holding your attention instead of what's really available to you. This Death card, one of my favorite Death cards, just beautiful. Absolutely lovely. I love the feel of this, the sense of honor that's in this card here. It's as though she's deeply honoring the space of death, that liminal. There's all these great, the serpent back here, which is just perfect. The sickle, she's got her little sickle knife, the cauldron, you know, this is the womb is really a part of the Death card. And she's older, kind of like a nod to the fates for me. I just love it. This Six of Pentacles, I think this is a great job with the Six of Pentacles. We do see some different age ranges in this deck. Whoops. You know, here's a good Two of Pentacles, something that it's the typical juggling of the pentacles, but you've got the stormy sky, and yet here she is in the crag of the rock, kind of safe from the storm, which is really something that I find in the Two of Pentacles that stands out to me, that it is a time of finding balance and understanding that there are storms outside of yourself or energies that are rising up that need to be addressed and brought into balance. And I just feel like this really conveys it really, really well. So, you know, just there's the Strength card, and they used a traditional animal. There wouldn't have been a lion, you know, abroad. And so they used the boar, which makes sense. And they're princesses instead of pages in here. You know, great queens. Just it's an old friend. I look at this Hermit. It's beautiful. I mean, it's on the cliffs with the ocean in the background, which again is like that great abyss, the abyss of the universe, the ocean, how that really conveys that feeling of that which cannot be fathomed, you know, the mysteries of the deep. It's just really beautiful. This Moon card, another favorite of mine. You know, the Empress. I do like this Empress, how she has a toe in the water and one on land. It's something that we don't always see. And there's just a ton of symbols in these. But again, this is like coming home and just not having to think about it. Like when you go home to your parents, or at least I don't go home anymore. My parents are gone. But when my kids come home, it's like they revert to letting me do it for them. And that's exactly what that deck is for me. It just does it for me. It does the reading for me. It's just so easy. It's kind of like the mama of decks that I come home to when I really just want to have warm soup and know that I'm going to be comfortable and know where everything is. Deck number 3 of my top 5 sharpshooters is the Everyday Witch Tarot. I was kind of surprised that I chose this one actually, because, you know, and I have a lot of decks. So I was really surprised that I chose this one over maybe the Morgan Greer, but I felt like this one here had a playfulness that I turned towards. And while I don't much care for the shiny, you know, most mass-produced decks are shiny. So we're going to try really hard to not have that shiny in here. But there's a playfulness, and as I turn to the death card, which there's nothing really playful about in here. I do love this death card though. The doors. It's like one door is open and the other door is closed. There's just really one way for you to go, and you're going to walk through death to get there. You know, there is something on the other side. You're not sure what it is, but you know. Another great card in here, this Eight of Wands. I love her. Like, this is just, to me, this is so much better than just the wands flying across, because they're flying around. It's her spell that she's begun, and you can see the look of like, whoa, on her face. Like, wow, these energies have really taken off. And a lot of times when the Eight of Wands shows up, that's exactly what it is. It's like the energy has taken off, and you know, you've just gotta write it out. So again, very bold colors, which I really like. But of course, it's fanciful. I love the witchy hats. I think this is a really great Ace of Swords. I like the lightning coming in, and I like the birds all around there sort of igniting. And there's a cat in every card. And if you knew anything about me, you would know that I am a cat nut. I'm going to turn into a crazy cat lady. I can almost guarantee it, let me tell you, because I'm a sucker. I did rescue for years. Great Seven of Cups. She's like at the shop, and it's like, ooh, which one is the one for me? Ooh, I just don't know. Gosh, that's me at metaphysical stores. I just don't know. You know, and actually this is a really good Four of Cups. Like, hey, I've got something for you. And it's like new and youthful. And the door is open. Look, the open door and the sea behind. Like all the imagery here of opportunity right here in this area that's framed. And then just the knitted brow as he looks to what has already been the past, you know. So not so much my favorite Wheel of Fortune, must be honest there. But I don't like, you know, I can't think of any deck that I like all the cards in. Can you? Is there any deck that you're like, oh no, every single card? Sorry, I didn't go through and turn these right side up. I should have done that. This is a great Two of Swords. I like it because it really talks about, sorry, I'm trying to get that glint off of there. It really speaks to that aiming from the internal. And I feel like the Two of Swords is really about that. It's about a melding of the head and the heart for me, and coming together in a way that allows you to shoot towards what you really want. And there's a bit of faith involved in it because, of course, there's that blindfold. So I really like that. Again, there's a cat in there. Got to have the cat in there. Cats everywhere in this, and tons of great hats. Not my favorite Hierophant. Like I said, don't like everything. Look at this Ace of Wands. Just the sense of awe of the power and what is available to her before her very eyes. Just a really good deck. And again, just super easy. Sorry, so many upside down. Like the whole deck is upside down to there. Yeah, fun nights. This is one which I really love. Oh God, and I've passed it. Probably one of my favorite nights is the Knight of Cups in this deck. All right, so I had to go get it after saying that. And I just love this. I love how he's kind of flying close to the water, and you're like, are those dolphins or are those sharks? And what I really love about this one is that, first of all, his cat's like barely holding on, which is kind of, I feel like, really the Knight of Cups, just romantic, off in the romantic world. And his cup is out in front of him, and it's almost like these bubbles of, you know, love and feeling are pulling him forward. He's more focused on that than he is on anything else. And so I really love that. And then since I saw it, I thought I would show you the Knight of Pentacles. And I love how he's just getting off the ground. Like every other knight is just zooming along on their broom. And this really shows just the slow moving nature of the Knight of Pentacles. Again, being led by his suit and that being his focus, and yet he's barely off the ground, 1 foot on the ground, ready to fly when it's time, taking off, but taking it slow. And so we're about to have a light change up here because the sun is going down and I need a little bit more light in here. Anyway, I do love the Everyday Witch Tarot, and it is something that's fun and lighter. It's something that I choose when I'm in a little bit more jovial of a mood, where I'm not grumpy. Like if I were grumpy, I would probably choose the Super Lunaris Tarot, because it's going to soften the blow a little bit but remain serious. And so I wouldn't choose this because it is very lighthearted and youthful. But when I'm just like, I just want a quick down and dirty read, and it's easy, and I just need an answer right now, I just want a quick consult. Yeah, I do like this tarot. Ta-da! More light. Okay, so number 4 is the Star Tarot. Now, I think some of you might find this deck maybe a little bit more complex because there's tons of symbolism. However, I've just spent so much time with this deck that I love it. So frankly, when I'm feeling a little bit emotional, this is probably the deck I'm going to lean towards. And the reason is because it is really symbol rich. I mean, there's just so many symbols going on everywhere, all over. These cards are just amazing. Because it's so symbol rich, it's going to bypass a lot of what's going on, and I'm going to be able to get beyond the emotions that I'm maybe flooded with. And it's going to help me calm down. It's going to bring me to a place where, look, this 10 of Swords. I just love it. It's going to bring me to a place where I can just get my head out of the way and even my heart a bit and relax into the colors. The colors are bold, but there's a real softness to this deck. I mean, look, there's just something really sweet and soft about the images. And yeah, this Queen of Cups. And so, again, you can tell it's very saturated color palette, which I really like. I really enjoy the art style to this. And like I said, I'm going to be able to allow myself, look at that, look at the labyrinth on there. These are all symbols that I'm really, really familiar with. And they activate something ancient. Oh, I love this 4 of Swords. I think this is a great 4 of Swords here. It's as though she's sleeping with her ancestors, or even like her clan or her totem, and she can be rested because she feels safe. And when she comes out of here, she will emerge from a place that's really brought her to a place of renewal within herself at a very deep core level. Again, there's something soft and sweet that draws me into the cards and creates a soft landing space. So if I'm in a very emotional place and I need answers, I know the cards so well that I can just dive in and, read them really quickly, but I can also just kind of let my eyes play over the images. And, I love this 8 of Cups here. I mean, 8 of Cups is about walking away, but here she is, she's moving up and away through the darkness and rising above the clouds into a new place, a new day. There's a rainbow. There's the dove of peace. And she's swimming through the cosmos and up into this new day and new way of being, and walking away from that. 4 of Cups here, very different 4 of Cups. Really showing the effulgence, the fullness of being in this space where you have everything that you need and being fed and receiving everything that you need. We don't often talk about that in the 4 of Cups. We kind of talk about it as boredom. Lots of traditional, this is very Grail-esque, which I appreciate, but then symbols like the lotus flower here and this moon down here. Just like I said, it's the symbols. There's just so much symbols that I can really dive in, and it just clicks in a way. Look at this tower. It's a great tower. with the dove down here. It's like the holy light coming in. It's beautiful. And we've got what? We've got the sun rising over here. I think this is such a powerful tower card because it really shows us how this cosmic light coming in and disrupting actually ignites and releases something fresh and new, releases us into a new day. Look, there's a shooting star, like make a wish. Make a wish. Now's the moment. This is a moment. What a divine moment. The sun is rising. There's a shooting star. The lightning is striking. The volcano. I mean, think about everything that goes into those tower moments, how complex they are and how the cosmos orchestrates those for us to bring us into our higher self. Just, you know, just great reminders of just of who we are on an energetic and core level for me in this tarot. And the imagery is beautiful. I mean, look at this. Star is just lovely. Again, and I love the art style. I never get tired of this deck. Like every time I go to do a declutter, there's no way that this would ever be on that. I'm taking it out because I'm over that deck. No, this is definitely just a favorite deck and it's beautiful. Number 5, last but not least, I saved it to the end because I feel like it's almost cliche. Yes, it's Chris Ann's Lightseers Tarot. You know, there's part of me that almost hates to like this tarot just because it's so, I mean, everybody just so uses it, but it really is brilliant. It really is easy. I have to tell you, when I look at this 5 of Swords, there's the guy who's like, yeah, and then there's the guy who's bummed about it. And I mean, it's very emotive. When I a lot of times do readings, I'll use this because people can see so much in the cards. It's so intuitive. There's so much going on here. When I introduce young people to tarot, I'm like, this is the deck that I'm going to get them. You know, it's, I never have a problem. Even the least intuitive person, they're going to read this and be able to get the symbolism. They're going to get it. And so I get it. And I've used it. Again, it's got that saturated color palette. Don't super care for this 6 of Pentacles. It's okay, but yeah. I do love this 3 of Cups. It is a favorite card in this deck. It's really lovely. There are a lot of great cards in this deck. I mean, look at this. It's so easy for people to see that they're thinking back and being nostalgic and, you know, going back to that inner child and in memories. So it's just, what is she doing? She's walking away. It's just really, really easy to dive into this deck and feel my way through it. I do love this 3 of Swords. I feel like it's great hanging from this barren tree, just tearing up. It's so emotive. She's just obviously in anguish, in absolute anguish. And you probably saw me use that in my 3 of Swords video. I guess I should mention right now, if you made it this far, hey, I've got freebies down below if you're new to tarot or if you want some cool things to print. There's free printables down there in the description box. The Empress, I do love this Empress. It is actually an Empress that I think is just beautiful, and it's because it's so Gaian in nature. And I feel like the Empress, to me, is so linked to the divine feminine and the goddess energy. You know, she's got these voluptuous breasts, like she's getting ready to nurse. The sea on her shoulders, the twigs in her hair, the earth is her belly, you know, just all, she's just full lips, which is a sign of estrogen, you know, it's full moon. It's just, it's a beautiful card. It's warm and fiery, which kind of gives that grain mother sort of feel to it. I really like this Fool card. I've got to tell you, if you don't have a good Fool card, you're probably going to turn me off to the deck. I recently had that with the, oh my gosh, Prismavisions Tarot. Yeah. But I like this Fool. I think this is a great 7 of Pentacles because it really shows him interacting. You know, during this time, during a 7 of Pentacles moment, we're at a point of waiting and not knowing. just knowing that we've planted something, but there is something we can do, and it is tending what's going on. And I do love that he's like putting his energy in and growing it. You can't really, I wonder if you can actually see it, but the energy is coming out and he's giving it to the plant so that it can grow. And there's this belief, you know, there's this concentration and rest and belief in there. So just lots and lots of great cards. I mean, this card, the Six of Swords, really is a great deck. The Five of Wands, the playfulness of trying things out. The Knight of Wands, look at the action in there. Like I said, I just never fails if I use this with a client in person. They always are getting a feel for what's going on. Beautiful High Priestess here, just a lovely High Priestess. We don't have the pillars, but we do have this sense of receiving. And I love the crescent, which is like sort of a nod to Avalon for me, that whole priestess thing. The wheel, I like the fact that she's joyful, but honestly, not one of my favorite wheels. And I know some of you love this wheel, but not one of my favorites. The Hierophant. The tower. I do love this tower. I really do. I love the natural side of it, and I love that it really, there's the nuts falling out. So it's like what you were banking on, it's not necessarily going to come to pass. So Lovers, just so many beautiful cards in this deck. And I want to thank you, Saturnarian, for forever ruining this card for me. If you haven't seen her Major Arcana Unfair Comparison, she talks about this devil in there, and she just cracks me up. It's one, I'm not going to say what it is because I can't unsee it, and I don't want to make you not be able to unsee it. But yeah, that devil died for me with that video. Yeah, and I mean the sun, death, the moon. I really love this moon, and I love this hermit floating above the trail, the light coming from within. Just so many beautiful aspects of this. Let me know if you made it this far by leaving me 3 emojis down below in the comments and giving me a thumbs up. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I was really surprised at some of my choices. I went to reach for some other decks, and I thought, no, those are actually decks that take mental gymnastics, but not these. Again, I've got links to all these decks down below in the description box if you're interested. Thanks for showing up and being here, and you might want to check out these videos, and if you don't want to check out those videos, maybe you want to check out where I read tarot over here on my other channel. And until we meet again, happy reading!